All right, I believe I found something cool for you modders out there. This is a pure tone input jack. And what makes this so special is it's got 4 points of contact. And why might that be better? That just makes it harder for the cable to pop out. So it's pretty secure. Whereas a standard jack has 1 point of contact. That's kind of loose. Just pops right out. So I came across this on Amazon and they're only $8. So I figured I would mention that. I've been getting into modding guitars a lot lately, and I think this is one of the final things I'm going to do to this guitar. This is that like 89 or 90 Charvel charvette, which is like a Korean version of a Charvel, and I ended up doing a whole bunch of mods to this. Traded 2 guitars for it, and when I got it, the Floyd was completely screwed up. I had to get new fine tuning pegs, had to get a Floyd bar, which they sell these separate for like $8. You can pick those up if you're missing them. The only thing I got to say bad about these is the bend in the actual arm is a little bit more extreme than a regular bar, but once you get used to it, it's not too bad. I also came across these Geiger Humbucker beauty rings, and these are okay, but I have found that you have to drill out the holes a lot because they don't line up. So what happens is these are too off center from where they're initially bolted to the guitar or screwed, and I end up having to drill them out. This is one of the ones that I haven't drilled out. This is like a spare, but once you drill them out, they pretty much fit. But they got all kinds of styles, and those are pretty cheap too. I think you can pick those up for like 10 bucks a piece. Another cool mod is this shadow pot, and what makes this so special is it's a kill pot. So you press it in and it kills your sound. It's really cool. I think those are like 12 bucks. So I slap one of those in there. The only thing you got to worry about is there's an additional hookup where you have to wire it to the center of the switch. And that's what the actual kill part is. If you don't wire that, then it doesn't work properly. But I don't know how long it will last, but it works fine, so I can recommend that. I guess I'll put links to this or pictures of what I'm talking about. Also picked up some of these pickups from Lyws, which is another Amazon brand, and they're pretty reasonably priced. I had to mod this one because this is for like a regular Strat. Ended up taking a razor blade and cutting the edge of it and resoldering it on the bottom so it will fit. Otherwise it would have this big plastic piece that stuck out and it wouldn't fit in. But hey, if there's a will, there's a way, right? This one is a rail, supposedly a noiseless Strat. It has like the grounding shield on it. You just solder to that, and it works great as a neck pickup anyway. Wouldn't recommend it for bridge. It's more of a bassy tone. This thing's pretty cool. This is a Warman Humbucker. This is from our friends across the pond. I believe it is British. Took a little bit to get here, but it was well worth it. And I think I paid $60 for this. But it's not a Chinese brand, so it's well worth the extra money to pay for it because it's actually quality. It didn't work in one of my guitars. I was gonna hook it up to that high voltage, and the wiring was so screwed up on that it did not like it, and I slapped it in here to give it a second chance, and it actually sounds pretty good. So I can recommend this humbucker. If you want to see me do a review of this, just put it down in the comments and I'll gladly do one. This has a 26K resistance. It claims it's a 28 or something like that, but I ohmed it out at 26, and it still sounds pretty phenomenal. Another mod you can do if you're really forgetful like me, as you can kind of see, I put a bunch of these stickers on here, and I am terrible with remembering my scales. So I just slapped this on here temporarily to kind of remember what I'm doing. So soloing doesn't take me forever to figure out the scales. So I recommend that. I think you can pick these up for like 12 bucks. They may kill the sustain and, you know, your harmonics. It might be a little harder to do harmonics because you're hitting off this plastic or whatever it is. But once you get to know the scales or whatnot, you can just take them back off. They just peel right back off. So I can also recommend these Saphue locking tuners. They're not bad. They're like the cheapest ones I've seen. They're even cheaper than Geiger, and they're probably just as good. I think I picked these up for 25 bucks or something like that. The mounting hole was in a different spot, so it kind of shifted the tuners, but it doesn't really affect anything. And the last mod I did is for the trem system. This thing is absolutely horrible staying in tune. Absolutely horrible. Like, this is the worst trem I've ever had on a guitar. So they sell these little spring-loaded trem stabilizers, and it's just 4 screws, and it goes to the back of the trem. And what it does is when the trem comes down and it sits to its like stationary spot, it rests on that. Because every time you use a Floyd and it's not perfect on both sides as far as the tension, it gets stuck on like a different spot. So that's why you're losing your tune. So sometimes whenever you're doing dive bombs or whatever, you can re-grab your tune if you know, bend the trem to a different rest spot. You can regain your tune. But I recommend those too. They're only like, I think, 15 bucks. You can get single or double. I got a single on this. But you got to pretty much crank the crap out of them in order to get them to work right. If they're loose, they don't work. But I can recommend those. So anyway, just some mod ideas for you guys. I'm going to go ahead and solder the original thing I was talking about, this pure tone jack. I'm going to solder that in, and I'm going to hook some cables through it and see if it's any better. This claims to be noiseless. This doesn't have a grounding issue to begin with, so I can't really vouch for that. But yeah, I look forward to putting that in. We'll see how it does. All right, we got it in. Here's the old one. Yeah, it only took about maybe 5 minutes, if that. But I tried it out, and believe it or not, it is a little bit quieter. I didn't think it had any ground noise, but it had some sort of noise, because it is really quiet now. Is it going to stop a cable from popping off if you step on it? No. But I don't think that was its intended design. I think it was just because these are so horrible. So yeah, I would recommend that. I mean, for 8 bucks, something to give you a little bit more insurance from the cable popping out. Yeah, I'd recommend that. It's a pure tone input jack on Amazon. So go look them up. And I appreciate you guys watching. I haven't really been posting because it seems like every time you post something, somebody complains about something. So it's like, well, I guess I probably won't post anything. So I kind of got in that funk for a little bit. But yeah, I'm still playing. I play every day. I have a bunch of new material, but, you know, it's like, yeah, I can record it and post it, but nobody's going to listen to it. And that's the great thing about being a unknown artist. Nobody cares what you got to say or what you have to play. But I appreciate you guys watching, and hopefully this helped you out on some mod ideas. Take care. We'll catch you in the next one.